Hey, welcome back to another update of my Canadian dividend investing portfolio. So just going to quickly run through how my portfolio is doing right now, and then talk about some of the stocks that I bought today and show you how that went, what I bought, and basically at the end I'll talk about how I increased my annual dividend income from the stocks that I bought today, which I spent around, I think, $600 of this $700 that I had available. So overall, my stock value in the portfolio at the beginning of today was sitting around $62,435. I'm up about 5,300, which means I'm up about 9.16%, which is pretty awesome. We can take a look in a second at which stocks are really causing the majority of that and which stocks I'm actually losing a little bit on. But in the last year or so, I've also received about $1,130 in dividends, and so that is kind of factored in. Basically, this is the difference of the amount of money I've put in and the amount that I currently have. So some of the stock prices will go up, some will go down. That will factor into this. And also, as I receive dividends, that generally increases this number as well, but then I usually use those dividends to reinvest and buy new stocks as we go. So taking a look here, sector is still heavily invested in real estate, followed by utilities. Industrials is starting to creep up, and some of my holdings here, you can get a better idea of the pie chart breakdown if you want, or we can just jump straight into the portfolio, which is right here. So some of the stocks that I'm up most on. Actually, let's sort this for the biggest percent of gain and loss. We can do that right here. And we can see that Loblaw at the moment is the best performing stock for me right now, followed by TD, Bank of Montreal, and CN Railway. And then as we go down, the percent gain, again, starts being less significant. So these are some of the real heavy hitters up here that I currently have in my portfolio. When we get down to the bottom here, we can see these are some of the biggest losers. So not everything is up, not everything is down, but overall my account is up, even though I've lost some money on these positions down here. For example, I've lost $107 on Cineplex, but I've gained $47 from HR Real Estate. That's on the actual stock price. That doesn't include the dividends that I've been paid out. For example, HR has also paid me $98 in dividends, so you can think of it as being up about $150 depending on how you want to consider it, but this is a pretty common way to calculate the percent gain and loss in each individual company. So today when I was looking at buying stocks, as often, like I usually am looking to pick up more that are in the red for me. So I did pick up just a little bit of Allied Properties, TransAlta Renewables, Aecon, Northland Power, and Algonquin Power. I didn't go with any more Energex, Cineplex, or DCM, but I did want to pick up some of these red stocks. Now, when I do that, I also like to put in some money into companies that make up a smaller percentage of my portfolio, and the easiest way for me to find that out is by switching this to the filtering by percent of holding. And now we see that the biggest positions that I have are at the top: RioCan, Allied Properties, etc., a lot of real estate companies. And as we go down, this is the column to watch. The percentage of my portfolio gets smaller and smaller and smaller as we go down. So a lot of the red stocks that I bought are sprinkled throughout. Some of them are my bigger positions. But when I do spend money on red stocks, I also just personally like to try to spend some money on the smaller positions in my portfolio to just start building these up. Otherwise, I don't like just put all my money into the red stocks and then like they just really get like too big of a pie in my portfolio. You can think of it that way. So when I was looking at this, the two that I picked today to add to that are kind of in the lower percentages of my account are Savaria. This is one of them. They make up about 1.5% of my overall portfolio, and I also picked up one in Metro. Now, earlier today, both of these were below $1,000, and it's actually nice to see that Metro has gone up, because one of my goals from today was to just get 2 more positions of mine above $1,000. And so this doesn't include yet the stock that I bought today, but that's cool to see that they did go up. If we do look at the Sparklines, for example, let's find Metro here, which is down here. So for Metro, they're doing pretty well. They're going up and down. In general up, but in the last little while they've like really significantly dipped down, and so I wanted to jump on that while I can. They kind of compete with Loblaw, which is my best performing stock, which is just going like absolutely wild here at the end. And I don't really want to buy more stocks, even though these guys are performing really high. I'm not sure that this is sustainable and can just keep growing. But if they're doing really well, sometimes I think, okay, well, maybe one of their competitors is doing well, or might do well in the future as well if it's a good industry. And so that's a little bit of the reason why I bought into Metro today. And then the other one was Savaria. They are right here. And Savaria also, they're doing pretty well. They have a nice dividend yield of about 2.5%. It's always growing, and again, just in the last little while, they've kind of dropped off a little while here, and I want to jump in on that whether it's a dip or the start of a decline, either way, I think for me it's a good opportunity to buy a little bit into this company. You know, when I'm thinking about which stocks to buy as well, I often come to my other tab here for extra Sparklines, and this is where I just have the Sparkline for each of the companies in my position in the same order that is in the portfolio tab. However, I have it sorted over there. That sorting gets carried through here, and then I can change the number of years here. Usually I look at like 3 or 5 years or something like that, and I often just come down here and quickly cruise through, just looking for anything out of the ordinary, like a big spike or a big drop, or even just a nice upward trend, something like that. And this helps me kind of quickly scan for, you know, companies that I'm interested in buying. Aecon is one of them that is dipping pretty hard right now or declining, and I'm taking that as an advantage to buy into it more. Again, see here, you can see MRU, you know, versus some other companies like, I don't know, maybe let's find a bank or something. Like Bank of Nova Scotia, for example, they're pretty high. BMO, they're pretty high. And I am trying to start adding into these again, but I just find it's a really nice comparison to set all of the stocks on the same timeline and quickly scan and see what's going on. So let's jump into Wealthsimple Trade really quickly. And here we can see actually the most updated number because this is my live portfolio. So this includes the stocks that I bought today. And so these numbers will be a little bit more updated. I have to check this sometimes if I make a deposit recently, like I deposited today and bought stocks, and this number gets a little bit skewed. But anyways, this is the correct total. But yeah, if we go into the activity tab, we can see the purchases that I made today on November 23rd. So I did buy 1 share of MRU, a couple of Severia, AQN, AP.UN, that's Allied Properties, TransAlta Renewables, Northland Power, and Aecon. So what I do is I take each of these buys, for example, for Aecon, I'm going to write down that I bought 6 shares at an individual price of $16.74 per share. I'm going to do that for each of these buys, and I'm going to transfer that into my spreadsheet in the transactions tab, which is right down here. So I'm just going to scroll down to the bottom. This is a master list of all the transactions that I've ever done. If we get down to the bottom here, I'm just going to make sure I drop these in exactly as I saw in Wealthsimple Trade. And I always double check the totals over here, match the totals in Wealthsimple, which helps me make sure that I haven't inputted any errors in the quantity or the exact price, because even if I'm off by 1 cent here, this will be different, so that's a nice trick to make. But once all of that's in, then pretty much the last thing that I am interested in is jumping into the summary tab, or maybe even the portfolio tab here. I can maybe just come and sort these by percent holding, and that's going to change up things a little bit. You see Aecon jumped quite a bit higher there compared to what it was before, and some of these got shifted around a little bit. But yeah, in the summary page as well, this is kind of what I'm mostly interested in. And looking here specifically at the annual dividend income that has increased. And if you remember at the beginning of the video, this number was around $2,435, and now we're sitting at $2,453, give or take. And so that's an increase of what, like I think $18 per year or something like that, which is great. That's totally passive, tax-free income, because so far all of this is in my tax-free savings account, and this is really going to contribute to my dividend snowball effect as I continue to deposit my own money and buy more stocks. I also receive this basically every year. It's around $204.50 per month. You can also see down here, and when I get that money, I just lump it in with the amount that I invest, or sorry, that I deposit, and then I like buy more dividend paying stocks with that, and then get more dividends, and just keep doing that back and forth. And you can see we're starting to build up, you know, pretty decent amounts, and over time, like many years or decades, you're going to see a sort of like slow but exponential growth going on. And by the end of all of this, when I'm much older, this number should hopefully be super big, and I'll be able to live off of it. So that's pretty much the plan, guys. If you watched this far, thanks a lot for watching. I really appreciate it that someone's interested in this stuff. And yeah, if you are interested in it, make sure you leave a comment down below. We'll chat, and let me know maybe what dividend stocks you're buying or something, or maybe how you're tracking your portfolio. So anyways, guys, with that, I'm out, and I will see you in the comments.